10 unexplained goblin sightings from around the world. Now we're getting into some videos that actually have potential, I think. What do we got? Let's see if I can solve this.
Goblins are a terrifying entity to think about. They're tiny little creatures that
Those
are
aren't
usually
goblins.
violent in nature and usually don't think too well of humans.
None of these are goblins.
Numerous goblins.
Oh god, we're going in! Space goblins! Ah!
The tiny hopping goblin. One afternoon, someone was filming a little boy. When the boy accidentally kicked the ball into the hallway,
oh god,
he appears a little reluctant to go out and get the ball.
That's the goblins' territory.
We know it takes a couple of steps into the hallway. What he sees next
sends
a shriek of terror through everyone's spines, and in the camera frame, you can see a small creature hopping through the frame. It's too
How
small
small does he think a goblin is?
Torso or hind legs.
Didn't we see this video for gnomes? Wasn't this confirmed to be a gnome sighting, not a goblin? Did this guy do any research? Where is that little bastard? That's clearly a gnome. It's like one of the like Rice Krispie guys. God damn, amateur. He didn't do any amount of research. Fucking has a montage of everything but goblins in the beginning. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This guy does not know goblins.
No one's really sure what it is, and it's only in the camera frame for
Not true.
seconds,
Experts have confirmed that it's a gnome.
The little boy crying. We're not sure if he ever got his ball back or if the family stayed in that home. It could have been some kind of small rodent for all we know.
No, that doesn't make any sense. Why would it be a rodent? It's clearly a goblin.
It's a well-lit area, so no one suspects anything of being over there.
Goblins do hate soccer.
Over there, however, something
He's not gonna like this.
Nowhere and begins walking towards the darkness. It appears to be a small goblin-like creature wearing a robe and a hoodie. No.
As goblins are known to do. Goblins are very well known to love robes and hoodies. This looks more like a Jawa from Star Wars. I think we can't rule out that possibility. It could even be Georgie from It. Like maybe he's going to try and catch his boat. The quality is too low to know for sure, but there is still that possibility it's a goblin. I can't see their face.
They don't quite catch up or see the creature ever again, but the boys do leave back.
Goblins are not an evil gnome. They're very different.
A small person wearing a robe, and if it was in fact a person, why was it walking the way that it was? Why did it not?
It's running. It's called running.
Out in the middle of the night, walking alone in a dangerous place.
I can't tell if this guy, like the guy who made the video, is serious or not, or if he's just playing into like children. Like, this could very well just be my Final Fantasy XIV character for all we know. But, like, why does he keep saying, like, he's walking weird when he's clearly running? Why didn't he say anything? What the fuck is he gonna say? I don't go around talking to kids playing soccer at 4 a.m.? Like, I can't tell if the guy's just going along with it to appeal to, like, actual babies or not. Or if he really does believe these things. I love these videos though, regardless. I like to believe that the guy behind the channel is truly frightened by the things that he finds, and he posts them in earnest. That's what I choose to believe.
Thinks of the object standing right behind them against the wall, sitting.
That's a gnome!
That's because everyone assumed it was some kind
of or the Pope.
That was
like,
out in the yard.
The Pope got hit with a shrink ray. He's got the Pope hat.
To move like a human, that people start to become concerned. The object seems to grow legs and quickly walks out of the frame, sending people scrambling.
Are we sure it's not a dildo?
Leaving the camera. Did a lawn ornament or object come to life? Was a goblin hiding there the whole time watching the kids play? Or is there a
It's probably a goblin. That's probably a goblin.
What we can see in the beginning of the video is a tree, some fencing, and some grass.
Goblins!
However,
they're having a marathon!
As some small objects, smaller
track and field goblins
begin to run alongside the fence. You can see a couple of objects fly over the fence and stop moving. There could be a simple explanation for this video. Perhaps it was a group of kids running and particles of clothing to throw them over.
It's clearly goblins that were running away from like a death beam, and then 2 of them got vaporized.
Truly frightening. A little creature peers around the corner.
This is another gnome!
Quickly goes back behind.
This channel sucks. What the fuck? They just take the gnome videos and then call it a goblin. We've seen like half of these when we were researching real gnomes. Obviously, as one does. Because I've become a leading expert on identifying gnomes and pixies. This is not a goblin.
As she's walking back, we see a small creature that looks like a goblin or leprechaun casually strolling through as if he lived there.
And he seems to have copied her clothing. Ah, so it's like a chameleon. He can mimic the colors around him. What if it's her from a different dimension? And the multiverse collapsed on top of each other because they have the same hair, same top, same jeans. And in this dimension that we collided with momentarily, we all happen to be like 1 foot tall. Oh my fucking god.
This small creature appears to be running for cover. The small creature runs behind what appears to be a stand.
It's Dobby, the house elf!
Even the child
Christ!
catches a glimpse of the small creature because he looks under the desk to see if he can spot him again. Couldn't seem to find it either. We're not certain what exactly they caught on camera, but we can definitely tell you that it didn't seem human.
It's definitely a goblin. I mean, obviously. Who would even bother making this video? Is there like a community of people who just make fake goblin videos, I guess? Like, why even make this? Doesn't make any fucking sense. It looks like they just rotoscoped some, like, guy who was streaking at a soccer game. And then, like, put it here. Like, superimposed it here. It's DB Cooper. That's true, it could be. Pretty wild stuff. I mean, I'm convinced. I was a little skeptical coming into this. It's like, yeah, gnomes are real. We all know that. Pixies, too. But, like, goblins, that's a little far-fetched. But now, after seeing some of this hard proof, like, what the fuck is this? You know, you can't explain that.
The sideways moving goblin.
These titles are amazing.
Or a hallway video. The only thing we see in the image is some weird limping creature that seems to be holding something in its right or left hand. We can't tell if the back or front is turned towards
Oh, the goblins doing the old karaoke.
It almost moves as if it's a doll.
The footwork drill from football.
Ones outside, but then we see this shadowy-like figure appear and start moving
What the fuck?
between windows and in between the apartments.
As goblins are known to do.
This is why you should never leave your window open at night, because you never know who or what could crawl inside.
Yeah.
Appears to be rather
You don't want to invite a
small,
goblin
like it
in.
knows how to scale walls. It doesn't move or look like any known animal, so we can only assume that the video has to either be fake or that this was something we'll never be able to explain. A photo in a photo. One of the most crystal clear cases.
This is one of the better videos I've seen to convince me of goblins. Like, how can you argue?
When the creature starts moving, it almost looks like it's a dressed monkey, but the creature doesn't move like a monkey and doesn't behave like
His potential explanations are remarkable.
It takes a minute to stop and just sits there, watching the cameraman. The people don't seem to be too frightened because they have no clue what it is. After a minute, it takes off into the wilderness to never be seen again. Do you think any of these goblins...
What do you mean? Like, isn't this just actually a child?
Starts moving, it almost looks like it's a dressed...
I feel like whoever made this video is a goblin, and he's trying his best to get us off of his trail, like, look at these goblins! And it's just like fire hydrants and like human beings wearing a hoodie. Because this guy seems so detached from like the most basic thought processes of like I've ever heard. This is just an actual child, and the first thing he goes to is a dressed monkey. And then when it was like this small person in the hoodie running across the street, the first thing he says is, why didn't they stop, and why were they walking so weird when they were clearly running? What a weird guy. Oh, Donkey watched the goblins as well, did he? I'm assuming now he's enlightened. And, of course, living in fear of the goblins, which apparently are everywhere.